Hey everybody, welcome to Horror Flick Chicks podcast. This is Angie, Sonia, and Sandra here. Hi ladies.
Hi.
You're all looking
Hi.
so beautiful, I have to say. So if you
Good.
if
I'm
you if
everywhere to
our
go.
viewers, if
I'm,
our viewers are not watching this on YouTube, they're missing out. But anyway,
I'm gonna sit like this.
you guys look amazing. Meow. Okay, so today we are doing a Yellowjackets, season 3, episode 4, right?
Yes, correct.
Correct. Great, I got that right. And this one is called 12 Angry Girls and One Drunk Travis, which is funny because it's a play on 12 Angry Men, which is a classic
Yeah.
movie. Um, and in this episode, we do see a court scene. So this
Mhm.
is pretty accurate. So just recapping what we saw in Them's the Breaks, which was the last episode. Ty and Van, we see them sort of like, well, Ty especially is sort of submitting to the wilderness because she's thinking that, it's giving that it's they're gaining something from it, from the death of the waiter. And, now it seems that Van is in remission. So Ty is like all in it. She's really kind of praising the wilderness all over again. And Van seems to be sort of like being strung along. So we see more of that in this new episode. Misty and Shauna, they're just kind of like Shauna just keeps thinking that Misty is up to no good. She's really not trusting
Yeah.
her. Um,
It's
she
crazy.
yeah. I mean, Misty is kind of just like a weird chick and she's,
She's
like
kooky.
she's a little
She's kooky.
kooky.
That's a good word.
And yeah. And then we see it's interesting to me that we see like a combo of like couples in all of these in these last few episodes. So then we see Lottie sort of with Shauna, and Shauna's just getting super frustrated with Lottie, wondering what she's doing, in her home, getting really cozy to her daughter, and just kind of like bringing this back into her home, which she doesn't really want, right? So she also allows her daughter to have the pendant from the last from way back when, and she didn't really appreciate,
It
she
was
Shauna
Jackie's. It was Jackie's.
it was Jackie's, and Shauna is just like kind of trying to move forward, right? So
I think
Lottie,
it's mostly it's just more. I think it has a lot to do that she just doesn't want her daughter to be involved in stuff. Like she doesn't want her daughter to find out know anything that happened because
Yeah,
obviously there's more things that happened that we haven't
right. That
seen
we
yet.
don't know about.
And
yeah,
it's probably worse things,
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
There's
So,
gonna be some stuff coming out. Yeah, for sure.
there's still more time. So,
hmm
Yeah.
then we're sort of also like, so we're recapping right now, but we're now going into this next so this next episode we see that, they're kind of like, coming out of that nightmare and sharing with each other what they kind of saw and these visions that they're seeing, right? So they're
right.
going
This was back in
like
the 90s, yeah.
they're going back in time, where they found the coach. They searched for him after Maddie gets back, and they kind of like putting him like they're definitely putting him on trial, right?
Well,
They're like,
they bring
you
him
have
back. They bring him back to like the camp area where they are, and they got to figure out what to do with them. And Natalie's,
And Natalie's suggesting a trial.
yeah,
She ends up becoming the judge. The jury is the rest of the girls. Misty gets chosen
his
to
defense
be
is
the
the
defense.
his
Yeah,
defense. Yeah,
the
and
Coach Ben's defense. And
yeah.
so we see them sort of like Misty's kind of like, why me? But like she ends up like, taking it on,
Getting
right?
into it,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
they ties the prosecutor, and they all kind of choose Misty to represent Coach Ben, because basically their argument is you're in love with him. You're the one that likes him
Yeah.
the most. So, but she's like, I guess after all this that happened, she wasn't sure about that, so she goes to confront him and ask him about stuff. Why, and he starts going into details of his past, like why he was a teacher and what, all this stuff,
Maybe
and
in the future, yeah.
Yeah,
she
so
kind of
he shares a
she
lot of his trauma, right? So,
yeah, right.
he grew up, he was a closeted gay person, and he didn't have a very supportive family. And so he kind of, like during the trial, he's just kind of like opens up
Well,
a
that
little
was
bit.
yeah, that was this was before the trial though. Before she like agreed to kind of
And let's put this out there also. They came back to the camp, and the girls wanted to put him in some kind of a hold, like a jail
My
yeah,
question
now.
is,
And
my
Natalie
question,
was all like, we need a trial. We have to do this fairly. He may be innocent. We need to do this like in a fair way. So that's how they got into kind of starting that.
right.
so my question is to you guys, because I didn't quite understand what what is their idea of the outcome of this? Like if and when they found him guilty, spoiler alert, what are they planning to do with him now? Are they planning to kill him?
Well, I don't
I
know.
don't
That's
know.
not.
We don't
You
We
don't
know.
don't know.
know. You can kind of, guess at this
We're
point.
Well,
kind
I
of
don't know
assuming maybe.
because no, because there were a couple of times where they were like, "Well, do you want to live?" So like it's kind of saying that
Well,
like
yeah, I
the
mean,
outcome of this trial
maybe.
will
But I think they were just
put him
threatening
to
him to.
death.
I think they
I
were just.
mean,
I think they
and
were
and
just.
to be honest with you, even if they really did find him guilty, it wouldn't be that illogical because he would have he if he was guilty of setting this fire, he would have killed everybody. So
Yeah, of course. But
they're
again,
pissed,
it
right?
might not be him. So it might not have been him.
It
So we
might
have to
not
Right.
think
have
about
been.
that too. And I think the point of them kind of saying, do you want to live or not, was more to try and like be threatening, to threaten,
Right.
to scare him
I
into thinking that
agree.
they're gonna do something really serious and really bad.
Like,
So
yeah.
I didn't think it was necessary because they planned to kill him. It was just like you better be scared
It was
because
just like a
we have
threat, like
the power.
a little bit of an empty threat, but possibly they could do something because, I mean, what else they gonna do? Look, they're stuck in the wilderness and they have to figure out ways to survive. This could be, uh, their next meal.
Yeah,
I
listen, they
mean,
could they could decide to kill him. They could decide to send him, like walk him out a certain distance away from them and keep him out there, and you can never come back. If you come back, then we'll kill you or something like I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll have
see.
to see.
It's
So yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this part is going to be really interesting because I don't even think they know what
I
they're
tell
going
you
to
one
do.
thing,
yeah,
Misty gave a compelling case.
she sure did.
She did. She went through
She sure did.
everybody, to be honest. She actually even she pointed the finger at Shauna and was like, "Well, you could have done it." You know,
Yeah,
um so
Right.
she kind of like, went through folks and made Shauna seems, by the way, extremely pissed, and she's really like we see her towards the end, just kind of fast forwarding through this episode, is that she kind of like is a bully, right? So she's like
yeah,
once they
but
come to this, so they decide that like, it has to be a two-thirds of a vote for it to be
Yeah,
verdict.
right.
So at that point, we're just kind of like, oh my God, Shauna is like, she's not happy because they have to keep like
keep voting and
keep
yeah.
voting because they're not reaching two-thirds because everybody keeps like it seems like most
Well,
more.
yeah, we're getting kind of ahead of ourselves. We like there's like that's like pretty much the end of the episode. Well,
Yeah.
let's just go over the trial a little bit. So they have this trial. Uh, the Ty is the prosecutor, and she brings up Maddie first to ask her like asking her questions about
When she
you
left
when
and
she left, and
yeah.
she and basically not basically, I was gonna say basically, but basically not basically, the coach kidnapped her and is like, did he kidnap you, and do you think he was gonna hurt you? And she's like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, it's like logical to think if he kidnapped you, he could have tried to harm you, and so she was trying to. I, I
Yeah,
thought I thought both
they
Ty
both
and
did great.
Misty were great
Me too.
being prosecutor and the defender.
Me
I
too.
thought they were really good doing their own parts.
Hmm.
she did that, and then Misty would come up and cross-examine her and have her own question. And it was like they were real lawyers. Like it was really,
Yeah.
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
it
I was
was
like,
really
damn.
good. It was really good. I have to
Yeah.
say, yeah.
So yeah, they're going back and forth, bringing people up. They bring up Maddie first. They end up bringing they bring jeez, uh Sean. They bring up Shauna.
Yeah, they brought up
Yes,
Shanna.
they brought Shauna up. But Shauna, we already know. Shauna like thinks the coach is 100% guilty,
Yeah.
and um, then
I mean, and they bring up when they bring up Shauna, actually just going into like her sort of the portion, they kind of push on the fact that like she didn't really get help from him when she was in labor. And I thought
Yeah,
that
they
was a
pointed
really
that out. Yeah.
interesting. So she kind of like I really do think that she's also like obviously she's traumatized, right? And she's
yeah,
especially traumatized because I think the eldest, the person that they probably like, relied on the most,
relied on the most. Yeah,
he kind of like said something
yeah,
that didn't really make any sense to her, and she didn't get the
I
help
think
she.
it was just the simple fact that she lost the baby, right? And everything after that that comes with that or after that is
Right.
like upsetting to her. So
Yeah.
right,
the fact that Ben didn't assist or help or comfort her or anything is still in her mind too. So she was
right,
kind of channeling that anger towards him in
yeah,
a way. Um, and she's not really too all about the wilderness being in charge of things and stuff. She's not
right.
all about that either. So all this stuff is a little bit hokey to her, I feel.
Yeah.
And she's like over it and she's here. She's there to survive. She doesn't care how.
Right.
She's
I
trying,
mean, she
and I
acts
feel like
like
she's
that in
trying
the
to do,
present. She acts like that in the present too. Like she's still
yes.
not into that
I
whole
feel like
flow.
she's trying to do the right thing as far as like people that are doing good or that she likes or whatever. She's not trying to mess with them. But once you start getting in the way of things or my survival and stuff,
That's a
then
wrap for
we gotta
you.
start. Yeah, we
Right,
gotta start like
It
cutting
them's the
things out.
breaks, but this is not that episode.
right,
Yeah,
Anyway,
right,
at
exactly.
some point, then we also see that they're kind of like pointing the finger at Natalie, who's the judge. And Misty's like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry to be pointing the finger at you. But we have to like
but
question everybody.
that's because
Um,
Misty
and
Well,
said
Shauna told Shauna,
the
right.
one thing that
Shauna told Ty that I like
Misty
basically like I
told
know
her
they somebody knew where he was, and she
that
Natalie knew. But
Natalie,
how'd you find
whatever.
out? And she
That's why they brought her up.
looked
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Misty, like so they put her. They asked she asked for Natalie to get on, so she can question her. And
yeah,
then it does come out that yeah, she assumed that he was still out there, and so yeah, she kind of had a thought that he was out there and whatever. So it was kind of I guess it now shows them that maybe she's protecting him when
she was
he
feeling bad. She felt bad because I think 100% she didn't think. I mean, she didn't think for like a certain fact that he actually did it.
right.
And then but I also think that she didn't really think that they were gonna find him out there.
yeah.
And once they
Right.
actually
So she
did, it's like
figured, right, she figured he
he's
left and it's like
gone,
he's
whatever.
probably
He's
gonna
either
die
dead
out
or
there.
somewhere, right?
Did
And then
anybody
she's like, oh
notice
my
that?
God.
Did anybody notice that Travis was very quiet and seemed
Well, maybe yeah, he was. Maybe what that's why it was 12 angry girls and one drunk Travis. Maybe he was just
yes,
that's what I
that's true.
assumed.
No, that is obvious.
He been
When they
drinking that
came back
mushroom
from
tea.
when they came back with the coach, he was just laying on that hammock like passed out, sleeping. He could
Yeah.
have been like,
He
He's
been
just
drinking that mushroom
hungover.
tea. He been
I
drinking
mean,
that tea.
yeah, one hungover Travis would have made a little bit more sense because it's not like he was acting out. He was just
no, no, no.
sitting
He
there
was
kind of,
definitely
but
quiet.
it also seems a
I think he's
little
scared of the women.
odd to me. It seems a little suspicious to me. I'm like, is there
He-
something that you know that you're not sharing?
I think he's just scared of the women. I think he's
That's
like, oh,
true.
these girls are
That's
doing
a
a
good
trial
point.
now. Like, if we
It
do
That's
could
anything,
also
they're gonna put
be,
me on trial.
I mean,
Yeah,
it could also be that he has he feels some kind of way because they did eat his brother.
yeah,
And he wasn't for that. He wasn't like,
yeah.
he might be still holding on to that.
yeah.
So we don't know what's going on with
I
that.
forgot
But
about that
so we'll say
comida.
yeah, that was yeah. Right towards the end of the trial, after Ty calls up Natalie, Misty calls up Coach to come and get take the stand to ask him questions, and that's when we hear she starts asking him about uh did you like being a teacher, and he was like no, or did you always wanted to be a teacher? No, I didn't. And but then he was saying he started coming out and saying, he said, well, you don't like kids, you must like kids or working with teenage girls and the team and stuff." And he was basically like, "Not really." So they were all kind of like, "What the hell?" Like, so yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, that
Yeah,
might be
and then he
true. He
kind of
probably did
that's
start
when
getting rid
he
of us because he didn't like being here and he doesn't want to
yeah.
be here.
You
Well,
don't
he
care about
shared a
him.
little more because eventually he found that the girls seemed it was like a family to him,
Well,
and
yeah.
it was a
So he
family that
said,
he
right.
didn't get to have,
He was
and
talking about
um
his family that
family,
pretty
and
much
also that
were not
that
a
they
good
were
people.
underdogs and that he always felt like an underdog, which was also really kind of like, I mean, he just kind of like really kind of like
I don't
loved
know
these
what to believe
girls,
with. I
right?
don't know what to believe with him. Like
Mm, it's
Yeah,
hard.
he made a
he's
compelling
very convincing. Yeah.
very convincing like
Although
argument.
he doesn't have anything to hide or really. I mean, I do believe that he doesn't have anything to hide at this point. I mean, I guess he could like, try to n not make himself suffer so much, but at this point, like he looks really, even in his eyes, he just looks like he's like,
I mean,
I
anything could
give
come
up.
out, but I at this point I don't think that he burned down the cabin.
I don't. I tend to think that he didn't either.
I think it
But
was one of those girls. I think it's one of those girls that possibly did it, whether it was on purpose or by
I
accident.
think if it was one of the girls, it's probably one of the quieter ones that we don't really hear about.
Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. Yes.
Maybe it was an accident too. Yeah, you're
And
right.
it could have been an accident.
It could have
Yeah.
been an accident.
Maybe
And
it
then
was that girl. What's
somebody
the name
got,
of that girl that's befriending Shauna now?
Melissa.
Yeah, it could have been her.
Yeah, I'm telling you, something's gonna
I
come out
think
about
Mari
her.
is very like, there's something, I also really
Yeah,
just
I
Yeah,
don't
mean,
like Mari.
but I don't,
but think
Mari,
about it. Think about it. Melissa is trying to be friend. Like Melissa knows that Shauna hates the coach, right? And she's trying to befriend her and stuff. And even now, after this trial, she said, "You see all the power you got from
well,
this."
yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we should say after this whole thing, when Natalie says, okay, it's time to vote, who thinks that the coach is guilty? And it was only what, three of them that raised their hands?
Three or
mhm.
four,
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Who
wasn't
thinks that
many.
he's not guilty and everybody else did. But it's not majority wins, right? It's
two
two-thirds.
thirds.
So they
Yeah,
didn't have two-thirds.
yeah.
She said, we're gonna keep doing this until we get two-thirds, until somebody changes their mind or whatever. Which, I mean,
It
that's
kept
kind of
going. They kept voting again, voting again, voting again. And same people
I
were raising
mean,
their hands for the
I think
same
that's
verdict.
ridiculous. Like, okay, try to vote again, but honestly, like you couldn't even you would that's not what trial is. So
Could
like
have been a better way to do it.
you
Yeah.
there could have been a better way to do it. You could have kept deliberating, but also like at some point you have to let it go and then it's a mistrial, right?
right.
But it's the same thing if you really think about it when you're in real life court.
True,
Like
but you
what
true, but at some point the judge says, "Okay, you know what? If you guys cannot come to an agreement, then we
Right.
have to miss this
But
is
they're
trial."
they
but
can't really
they're
do
not
that
Not
with the wilderness.
bullying everybody.
right.
They in
They
the
can't do
wilderness.
that. They can't do that in the wilderness. It has to
They
be
gotta do they
guilty or
gotta
not
make
guilty.
It's a
decisions.
mistrial.
They should have just gone with majority.
Yeah.
Majority, because that's what it was. It was everybody
Yeah,
was
they
voting
should
for a
have.
while.
You're
Majority
right.
was saying not guilty. I think after they heard him on the stand,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that the way he came out, basically he said, "I love you girls. You girl, I didn't have a family that watched out for me, and I felt when I came here that you guys became my family, and I really cared about you guys." And I think they a lot of them took that to heart. So there was a majority was voting not guilty, but after a while, Shauna just went crazy and was like basically like vote guilty or I'm gonna be on your ass next. And
Yep.
she scared a lot of them. So like
She
three or four of
she's
them
a
changed their
bully, like
vote,
I said.
Including Travis. That's what I'm saying. He's
including
scared of the
Travis,
girls.
including Travis. And so as soon as she got her last vote, she said that's two-thirds. And
Yeah,
that's
right.
it.
Yeah.
So
So
they
now,
found
dun
him
dun
guilty of
dun.
attempted murder. What they're gonna do with him next, we don't know. They didn't show anything yet. But after that, Melissa goes up to Shauna and tells her, you see, that's power.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah,
got them
and
to
then she's
change their
like,
vote.
they're like holding hands, and they're like, "We've got the power."
Right. So she's
Yeah.
trying to manipulate her too.
I'm telling you, she could easily have been the one that did it, and she's trying to get the blame, take the blame off herself, and trying to get them to convict the coach
Anybody else
for
except
it.
for herself? Yeah.
Yeah, anybody else by herself, but now that he's in kind of the spotlight
That's a
on
good
it, he's like, oh,
point.
let's
That's a
get
good
him.
point. I give you that. You had me now.
I didn't even think I didn't even think about it until now, until we started talking. But yeah, I mean, it could possibly have been her. We haven't really heard or
that makes
seen
sense.
her in the last seasons. So now that
No.
she's coming up and in the forefront, I mean, it could easily have been her, and she's just trying to,
There's something with her, and right now it looks like it's something bad.
yeah,
That could change because obviously we still have more of the season, a lot more of the season to
mm,
go. So it
yeah,
could be something completely different.
I know,
But I'm leaning towards just something like she's manipulating Shauna to try and make something else happen,
Good point.
or possibly be in power as her, like, as her partner in power or whatever. She's,
yeah,
you
Yeah,
know,
I mean, everybody's trying to find, it's like prison, I guess. You're trying to find the people you need to
yeah,
connect
you gotta be,
to
yeah.
yeah,
keep safe, right? So let's come back to present day and see what's happening in present day. So in present day, Shauna and her husband Jeff is like on this karma sort of kick, and he's thinking that they need to make things right in the world
We need to do something to, right,
in
right.
order for them to sort of like bring their luck back.
yeah,
And so he's like signing them up to like do volunteer work, doing donations, like going around the house trying to find a lost cat. And like he's really like trying to
okay,
like do these things. And Shauna's just kind of like going with him, like going along for the ride. So we see that, they Shauna ends up volunteering at the same like nursing home as where Misty works. And she's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "Well, I work here." And
yeah,
so then we see that Shauna's kind of like helping out there, and also sort of like, she at some point she gets caught up and like is putting away stuff in a
Well,
freezer.
she starts, well, first when they go, her and Jeff go in to volunteer, and she's arguing with Misty for a while, but after a while Misty's like, okay, she's like, yeah. She's thinking I'm gonna give her some like little grimy stuff to do here. So this is gonna be great because they're already mad from the last episode with the
yeah,
car and the brakes, and they were at each other's throats already. So Missy's like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy it. Like, yeah, yeah, this is gonna be fun. And she comes in and she has her doing stuff in the kitchen, but Shauna's actually like having fun. She has music on, and Missy's pissed. She's like, you're not supposed to be.
yeah.
You do
You're
this
supposed
all
to be
the
having
time.
fun.
You cook all the time for your family and stuff. This is supposed to be something, not fun for you and other stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just like, she's not letting it like bother her. And Missy just getting mad because she's like, you're supposed to be miserable. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Justin playing doing bingo,
yeah,
and the old people love him.
yeah. He's having a great
They
time.
love the way he's calling
He's
the
so funny.
numbers.
Yeah,
And then he
He's
starts telling
making
dirty jokes with the
jokes.
ladies and stuff. It's so funny. But yes, after a while, Shauna's in the kitchen, and she's putting some food. She's packing up some food and she puts it in the freezer, and the freezer door closes.
hmm,
And she's knocking and saying, "Hey, I'm in here." Nobody's coming.
yeah,
And then she hears a voice, she turns around, and Jackie is in her head, but you can see her like sitting in the freezer. She's talking to her. She's not in there that long.
no,
After a while, one of the people from the nursing home come in there and she's knocking on the door. She's like, "It's Sean, I'm locked in here." She's like, "Oh," and he opens the thing and she grabs her bag or
I mean, she
jacket and
totally
runs
thinks,
out
yeah, she totally thinks Misty did this.
looking for Misty. Where's Misty? She's asking the ladies for where's Misty? And she's like, what? I said, she locked me in the freezer. Where's Misty? And she's like, Misty left hours ago.
Yeah.
So then she's like,
And
oh,
when
then
when she was in the freezer, Jackie was talking and saying that, maybe this is karma for all the bad things you've done.
right,
And you've done a lot of bad things. This is part of the payback for
right,
you. So that's why you got stuck in here. That's what.
right.
So,
That's true.
it could be the wilderness coming for them, or to make.
Or it could be somebody from the wilderness
Or it
coming
could be
for them.
somebody from the wilderness. Yeah. I have a feeling that I feel like they're showing a lot more characters this season, like newer characters. And I have a feeling that we're gonna okay, newer characters in the back in the 90s
Right.
setting. I feel like we're gonna start seeing those people in the present time
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
next couple episodes, and we're gonna see how they play a part in the lives of the Yellow Jackets and stuff. For
Yeah.
like Ben, I think he's gonna come back. I
I
think
I think
I
so. I have
think
a strong
Ben,
feeling that he will too. Yes.
Melissa, I
Or
think she's gonna
at least
Yes.
come
I
back.
hope so, because I really want to see what happened to him.
Melissa and the other girl,
Melissa for sure I think is coming
yeah, and
is
and the
there.
other one, the one that had the hallucination with Van and
Oh, the black girl?
Shauna, yeah.
Yes. What was her name?
I think that she may come back too
Yeah.
as an
Aquila? Is it
adult.
Aquila?
Hmm?
Aquila? Aquila or Aquila?
I think it's
Akila,
Akila.
Akila, Akila.
Akila.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think either all those three or one of them or something is gonna be back. And then we'll see how they've been playing a part in the lot in their lives and manipulating things. Like, I don't know. I don't know, you
Yeah.
know?
Somebody's
But
doing something, I think.
somebody's definitely doing something.
Somebody that we
Um,
don't know yet, that we don't know of yet.
yeah.
Doing something,
That we
especially
haven't seen.
Shauna. Because all the phone in the restaurant, and we still don't know who left that package at the door
Right. Right.
from the first episode that
Yes.
Callie took.
Yes. Correct.
And then now with the freezer thing, because um she totally thought that it was Misty, but they said that Misty left hours ago and she wasn't in there for hours, so it couldn't have been her. So that got her thinking like, so what's going on now? And you
Right.
know, so there's definitely something else going on with that.
Yeah. But I mean, we end that whole scene in the nursing home, and then we go back to Misty, right? Misty's in her home, and she has that letter that Walter had given her before, that had the
Yeah.
invisible
Like
ink,
that it was like
invisible ink
invisible ink.
writing on
Yeah.
it. And she's looking at it, trying to, I don't know, maybe she's trying to find some kind of clue about something, and she's trying to decipher something. And she's opening up her laptop, and she sees a link, or like a website, and there's a link, and
But
she
hold on.
gets
It's
a
a text.
call. Oh, text.
While
She
she,
gets a
yeah,
text.
Text.
she gets the text.
Text from Walter.
She gets
Before
a
she
text from
presses
Walter.
play,
Before she
before
clicks
she
the link. Yeah.
Yeah,
presses
yeah, yes. Before she clicks on anything, yes. But she
She
does
gets the
open the laptop, and she gets the text, and it
yeah.
says,
And
I
it's
heard about,
I just heard about Lottie. Are you
about
okay?
yes. And she's like, what, like, what? What are you talking about? And she goes in, she clicks the link, and then you see
And
Lottie. There's a
it's like
video.
it's a like a news story or so that police whatever, and it says a body found or whatever, and she clicks it, and it's a picture of the body
And
of
it's
this
Lottie.
lady.
She's on the bottom of a staircase. And I'm like, what? Something's going on. Because earlier in the episode, they showed her coming out of a bank.
Yeah.
You notice this?
Yes.
She was making some kind of transaction, because they said they called, it was like, yes, miss, like she was somebody, and she
Yes.
had like a little fur coat thing coming out. Like,
mm,
she's hiding something.
she is.
And if that's true, what's in that news clip, then she's not who she said she was.
Right.
You know?
So now there's a new mystery. Who is
Yeah.
Lottie?
So now we'll see what happens with that. But That was like odd. I don't know how they got
We
to
should
that.
we should mention too, because we didn't talk about the present day Ty and Van.
Yeah.
So Ty was trying to keep convincing Van that this thing is you were healed because of this and the sacrifice and all this stuff. And so we got to see if it works. We got to kind of test it. So they buy a deck. They're sitting outside of a store or whatever. They go to a newsstand. They're in New York City. They go to a newsstand and they buy a pack of cards and they take the Queen of Hearts out and they drop it on the floor. Let's see if it chooses someone. Let's see a
Yeah.
couple people there, and this man picks it up, puts it in his pockets, and start following him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they expect to find, but they're gonna follow him. They follow him all the way to his house, his apartment, and right before they
And
go,
Ty is just like ready to rumble.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
she's trying to go
Van
into
is
the apartment, and Van is like, "Wait, no, like, let's not do this." Like, you
yeah.
know,
Let's just enjoy our lives the way they
yeah,
are.
just
Yeah.
Like I want to live, but I don't want to live like this, you know? I
Yeah.
yeah,
mean, that's wild to think that, in order for you to live, you have to keep feeding the wilderness,
right.
Yeah.
um,
Sacrifices,
and making
If
sacrifices.
that's even a thing.
I
Like
mean, then
even
you'd
right?
be
yeah.
like like you're living the rest of your life as a serial killers, right?
I
I
That's
mean,
didn't think of
that
it like
that
that, but
that's the way it would be. I mean, you would
yeah.
have to keep killing people. And also, by the way, is there any like is there anybody like for example, the little girl would have picked up that card if her mother
Right.
didn't throw it back down. Does that mean that they have no freaking, rules? They haven't even like said, okay, well, we won't kill children. We won't
the
sacrifice
wilderness has
a
no
child.
rules.
The wilderness has no rules.
It's
That's
just
correct.
Jackie was essentially a child. They're teenagers.
yeah,
And
that's
they got her. They got her.
true.
So I don't think the wilderness cares.
And so was Shauna's baby
And yes,
Oh, true.
yep, yep. And Travis's brother.
and Travis'
Yeah, we're
mother.
all
Listen,
children.
wilderness
Yeah,
don't care.
this is
Wilderness don't care.
true. The wilderness does not care. So the mystery continues. I think that we were left really sort of guessing what's going to happen next, what's going on with
Well,
Lottie.
they
Um,
left it with Lottie's body, so we don't know what's going on with that. So
so next up, we'll see what happened to her, and it's very exciting, you guys. I'm really like interested in seeing where post-trial, now that they have found Coach Ben
Yeah,
guilty,
what
what
they're
happens
gonna do.
next? What are they
Yeah,
gonna do with him? Are they gonna put him in jail, and so to speak?
I
are they
know.
gonna eat him?
Are they gonna just, yeah? So are they
We
gonna
don't
put him in
know.
spit? What's going on? But yeah, so you guys, thank you. This was really a fun episode, I thought, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So you guys are here watching us on YouTube, I hope, and I know that you are pressing subscribe down below. Thank you to all our followers on Instagram, Threads, TikTok. What else am I forgetting? So our
Facebook.
podcast can be on
Facebook.
Facebook, of course, Spotify, Apple Music, all of the places. So thank you guys for supporting us. This is Angie, Sonia, Sandra, signing off. Peace, love, and horror.
Bye.
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 That's the end.